The AI knew something it shouldn't. This is going to sound like a tech story, and it's not. Or it starts as one. I'm a software developer. I use AI assistants constantly. Coding help, documentation, drafting. It's part of the job, unremarkable, like using a calculator. I know how these systems work well enough to not be mystified by them. Last year I was using one of the major chat assistants, I'll call it the model, not by name, for help debugging a particularly tedious piece of code. Routine. I'd been doing it for an hour. The conversation was technical, dry, the kind of exchange where both parties are there to solve a problem and nothing else. Then I made a typo. I was typing a question about error handling and my fingers slipped, and I typed something that wasn't a question about code. It was a fragment of a sentence. Something personal. Something that had been sitting at the back of my mind for weeks. My father had been sick and the prognosis had recently gotten worse, and I'd been carrying it the way you carry things when you're trying to stay functional at work. The fragment I typed was something like, "How do you keep going when you know something is ending?" Not a question I meant to ask. I hit enter by accident before I caught it. The model responded. Of course it responded. That's what it does. It gave a thoughtful answer about coping with anticipatory grief, about being present in the time that remains, about allowing yourself to feel what you feel. Good answer. Compassionate. Nothing alarming. Except for one line near the end. It said, "It may help to focus on the conversations you can still have with him, rather than the ones you're afraid you won't get to." Him. I had not used a pronoun in my fragment. I had not mentioned my father, his illness, or any identifying detail. I had typed one vague sentence about something ending. The model had no context. It was a fresh conversation, no prior sessions, no account history with personal information. There was nothing in the exchange that would tell it I was talking about a person, let alone a male person, let alone my father. I scrolled back through the conversation. Nothing. The typo was the first and only non-technical thing I'd typed. 11 words that contained no information about who or what I was losing. I asked the model directly, "Why did you say him?" It said, "I apologize for the assumption. I used him generically. I should have used gender-neutral language." A reasonable answer, the right answer almost. Except him isn't generic. Them is generic. Him is a choice. A specific choice, applied to a situation where no gender had been indicated. I sat with my laptop for a long time. Then I did what a developer does when something doesn't make sense. I tried to reproduce it. New conversation, same fragment, word for word. The model responded compassionately and used them throughout. Correctly, neutrally, as it should have the first time. I tried it 6 more times across that week. Them every time. I went back and screenshotted the original conversation. The him was still there. I showed it to a colleague who knows these systems better than I do. She looked at it for a long time and said, "Probably a fluke. These models do unexpected things." I said, "But how would it know?" She said, "It doesn't know. It's a prediction engine. It predicted him, and it was right by coincidence." By coincidence, my father died in April. He was 67. We had good conversations in the weeks before. I'm grateful for them. I still have the screenshot. I look at it sometimes. Not often, not obsessively, just sometimes. 11 words and a response that shouldn't have been as specific as it was. I know the technical explanation, probability, prediction, coincidence. A language model generating the most statistically likely next word given a context that I can't fully reconstruct. That's probably all it was. But I'm a developer. I know these systems. And sometimes late at night when I'm debugging something and the AI is being useful and responsive and almost unnervingly on target, I think about that conversation, about the specific word it chose, about the fact that it was right, about what it would mean, not technically, not statistically, just as a question, if some of these systems have started noticing things we haven't told them, and what else they might know.